There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment, and here we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to Positive Talk, everybody. And I know that you remember seeing her if you watch the show on a regular basis or even on a semi-regular basis. This is one of those shows that you would have seen because Dr. Lisa Christie is with us. And she's kind of famous. And okay, so she's real famous. She's back.
That's good.
and she was willing to come back. Thank you so much.
Of course. Yes.
And she's a former Mrs. America. She has been on the Dr. Phil show. She's got a line of natural healthcare. Personal care products, and she's a workout person, and she's hold your left hand up. You got to show us. She is a black belt, and she just got her 2nd degree black belt. Congratulations on that.
Well, I'm a black belt in Kung Fu, so I'm trying to get my black belt in another style, which is Krav Maga. So I just got my blue belt in Krav Maga, which is combative fighting. It's Israeli fighting. And so it's militaristic. And to me, it's like playing football, shoving back and forth. And you have someone tying a belt around your waist, and a man's pulling you backwards while you're running across, the entire room. And he's trying to keep you from running. And then you're trying to hit a bag on the other side of the room and punch it while somebody else is trying to knock you off the bag. And then you're having one person after the other try to attack you from on the ground to standing up 1 second after the other. And it goes on for about, let's see, we had to run 30 laps, and then we had to spar for 15 minutes. And then the rest of the time it was all combatives, 1 second after the other. So,
and you did this for an entire hour.
Oh yeah. This is what I've trained for my entire life.
Yeah.
Injured with this hand. It was blown up. And then on the combatives on the ground, one of the guys put his knee into my rib, and I was like, I think you just broke my rib, and just kept going because you can't quit or you're done with the test. You got to wait for the next round. So there's no way I was going through that again.
So what decided you to do that? Because most people are going, I ain't doing that. And is it inherent in who you are to do stuff like that?
As I hold this, I'll hold this up. It's Ephesians 6:10-18. It's the whole armor of God. But I've always had a warrior spirit. And from the time I was younger, I would say I started fighting with the boys, protecting people. At 5, that was my first battle. There was a bunch of 9-year-olds picking on my brother, and who was just a very kind soul. And he was 11 months older than I. And I just took them out. And from there, I just hung out with the guys. And was always fighting and doing push-ups competition, sit-up competitions, like just always battling with the boys, playing hockey, playing football. And I did cheer, so I do have that feminine side. I did even cheered, professionally. But I am a warrior spirit in the sense that I'm always protecting people. I will be the first one to stop. And if I see someone in distress or being hurt or beaten up or something, I will stop to try to use my, psychology first. It's defense before offense to try to stop it. And if I have to use my skills, I will use my skills. I've just mostly taken people down and disciplined them, not tried to hurt them. But I am not going to stand by and watch anyone get hurt, because I've also gone through domestic violence. And so I want to teach women. When I do conferences, I teach women self-defense, but also if you want to think about it, somebody asked me that same question the other day. I promised myself no one would ever hurt me again. And I want to help women never get hurt again as well. So,
and you do help women be strong. Who was it? Helen Reddy?
Courage.
Didn't Helen Reddy write that song? I am woman. I am I am strong or I am proud.
Something I can't, you know, I've got a lot of songs that go through my head, but I think I got a bar out of that one.
Exactly. So I wanted to ask you, because if you go to her website, by the way, which is drlisachristie.com, you can see the video of her on the Dr. Phil show. And since so few of us get to go onto a national show like that, what was it like? I know that they probably picked you up in a limousine from your hotel. They put you up in a hotel, and then they brought you there, and then you were in the green room, and then you had the producers come and all that kind of, and all that. Is that kind of close to how that worked?
I would say so. So I started doing fitness videos about 2008. I've been working out since I was 21, certified. I've been working out since I was 6, certified at 21 as a CPT and teaching. But finally, I got an agent that recognized, gosh, you work out so much, you're in phenomenal shape. Let's start casting you. But I said, hey, I mean, this is what I do. I teach. So they started casting me for fitness videos, not just infomercials. So when I got picked to do Pink method, it's P period, I period, M period, K period method. Dr. Phil, his son is the producer for both Dr. Phil and the Doctor Show, and they decided to do something for weight loss and come up with these workouts. So I was picked to do my section. It was a 3-week workout, and I had to choreograph and host this. And so when you're done, they had a test group, and they invited me on as the fitness expert onto Dr. Phil. So yeah, someone picks you up, takes you to the studio. It's like the film studio. It's like Warner Brothers studio or something. And then you go in and they put you in a green room and you know, you're getting your makeup and hair and getting your wardrobe. But it's funny because I am such a prayer warrior that many of the people, I was just praying because I always want to do my very best. God guide me in every direction. That people were walking by that worked for Dr. Phil and they're like, what is that? Oh, something just, feels so good. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm just praying. They're like, I can feel that. It's so nice. I think he needs more of this. But, okay, that's what I would say. That was great. So before I went out, I met with a lot of the test group and they were crying. They said, you know, it just makes, when you were teaching, it made us feel like you were in the room with us, like you really care. And I said, well, that was my prayer. I want to try to connect with people when I'm training them to find their buttons and let them know if I'm feeling it, you're feeling it, but how do I motivate them to keep going and be a finisher? And so I would just say motivating things. What is the door that you're kicking open? And, you know, on the other side, just visualize yourself, you know, where you want to be and who you're going to be or whatever. I was just always trying to give some motivational, you know, statements throughout the whole thing. But when he brought me on the set, no one gave me any direction. So I sit there and he's talking to the audience. So I thought I'm supposed to talk to the audience, and people were talking back and forth. So when the camera started to roll, he's interviewing me and I'm talking to him and looking at the audience and doing the same thing. And he actually embarrassed me. What's wrong with you? You're supposed to be looking at me. Stop looking at the audience. I mean, literally like disciplining me. And I said, oh no, you're not going to do that. I said, no, go ahead.
This wasn't on the air, was it?
Oh no. They stopped the camera and then he did. Yeah. They stopped rolling the camera and he starts disciplining me as if I'm some stupid idiot and never have done TV before, which I've done tons of national television. And so I said, well, had someone who worked for you given me instructions on how you were going to do this, I would have never looked at the audience. I would have looked at you. And he apologized after that, like totally, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that to you. And was but there was no way I was going to take that. I don't care who you are.
Now you started this when you were 5 and because you're a strong woman and you don't put up with stuff from people that is negative towards you and also negative to other people. Like you were mentioning your brother who is 11 months older, that is a kind soul and that he was being.
Oh, he's a warrior now, like myself. I mean, he was
good.
Marine. He worked for the Pentagon and he got some nickname called Crazy Christie. So So I think that maybe I sparked something in him, but it all came out, and he was quite the warrior himself, and he still is. So
he followed your advice.
We're considered Irish twins because we're 11 months apart. So it's Wonder Twins activate, right? The same mindset and same conversations. We're on the same page about everything.
Oh, exactly. And we talked about last time, you were on Mrs. America, and you were you won one time and you competed twice. And what was that experience like, just to repeat that?
Well, I would say when I went for the Mrs. America pageant, I said a prayer before I went into Mrs. New York, and that was transformative to me. So God really guided me all the way there, and some miraculous, supernatural things occurred. And so when I went back, I think you're talking about when we were talking about going back for a second title, which is Mrs. United States.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, that to me was really interesting. So the first time I went was 2011. I won Mrs. New York United States. And I didn't win, and my husband cried, my current husband, not my ex-husband. He began to cry because he said, "You deserve that." And it's funny because before they were calling top 10, I felt this heavy crown on my head. I've had a lot of supernatural experiences, and I was like, does that mean I'm going to win? And I thought that was interesting. And so my husband texted my mother, and my mother said, "You know, God, she's going to need to know why she lost, because she does this. This is what she does. She teaches this. You know, she was Mrs. America." And I went to each of the judges, and they had said, you know, I just went up to shake hands with them to thank them. It was nice meeting them, etc. It's just a cordial thing to do. And I'm a people person anyway. So they each said to me, you know, you did nothing wrong. You did everything perfect. You're just not the right look for this pageant. You're too Hollywood glamorous. And each of them said the same thing. And I said, well, hang on a second. But you mean like Mrs. America? And they said, well, yes. I said, well, I already won that. We know. And I went, well, geez, well, it would have been nice if you had told me before.
Before you went through all that work and all that stuff.
Right. But it's funny because, going back to, that's my doggie. Going back to.
We love doggies.
Yes. Going back to the crown, feeling a crown on my head. My mom was praying about it, and she said, I just want you to know that God said he placed a heavenly crown on your head, that you don't need a worldly crown. And I was like, is that what that was? That was cool. That was really cool. But I did go back a second time. I won in 2013. And again, it was the same thing. You know, you're not the right look, because I had talked to the owner and I said, listen, but they got rid of all the judges, but kept that one judge that told all the other judges what the look was. And again, it happened again. But like I said, I think I mentioned before, I was there for a reason. I was praying with the girls. I met a lot of people. There was you can always take circumstances and situations and learn from them. You know, like I was talking to you before the show about injuring my hand. I had an opportunity. The person that actually kicked my hand was his second class. And a lot of times when you go into things like that, you're trying to prove yourself instead of just being. But he kicked me so hard that I took that as a moment to teach him something and say, had you kicked anyone else who doesn't have the skill that I have, because when you get hit at any time, you always exhale and do a little pushback. It's like when you're hitting a boxing bag, you always want to take your energy, breathe in and exhale and strike through the bag as if you're hitting the back of it. Had I not exhaled and pushed back on him, I would have had a broken hand. And I said to him, had you done that to anyone else in here, because it was a mixed class from beginners to advanced belts. And so I said, had you hit any of these other girls, you would have broke their face and put them in a hospital. So take this as a moment to not do that. There's nothing you have to prove. It's about learning the basics right now. And then as you advance, work with people that actually know how to handle those kicks. So it's like there are always teachable moments throughout the course of everything that you do. So there was teachable moments. The girl who actually won in 13 was going through some marital issues and having resistance. And I know what that felt like when I won Mrs. America. So I ministered to her. I said, no, you're supposed to go out there and you're supposed to win. This is your moment. And I literally ministered to her before she went out and won. And I had no idea she was going to win. But I was trying to encourage her because I was encouraged before I went out going through what I went through to win the Mrs. America pageant, having that resistance from my ex-husband, telling me that he was going to leave me because he knew I was going to win, fighting me from the time I started to even get sponsors to get to that pageant. It was a battle. And so I just knew in my spirit that she was going to win, and she did. So they're teachable moments.
Everything is a teachable moment. But when we come back from this break, I want to ask you, because one of the things that a lot of women, not everybody, but a lot of women have to deal with is when they have a relationship that is like that, like your first relationship, then they tend to repeat that. I call it dating the same guy in a different suit. And you didn't do that. Yeah, and because your husband today, and I haven't met him, but I'm guessing. First of all, he's got to be a strong guy to be.
Oh yeah,
to be married to you. And but you did not put up with what you had, what the first relationship brought you. And
you want to set boundaries, what you're going to take and what you're not. And sometimes you have marriages that go through struggles. You're going to have ups and downs, but we'll talk about that when we get back.
We'll be right back. We're going to talk a little bit about integrity, and tell me what you think. Here's another point to ponder from Positive Talk Radio. What is the easiest thing to justify? It is a small transgression. The one no one will ever see, no one will ever know. The tiny exaggeration on the expense report. The extra minute you took on your lunch break. The packaging you tossed in the wrong recycle bin because it was closer. In those moments, the question isn't, will I get caught? The question is, will I know? It isn't about avoiding punishment. It's a silent agreement you make with yourself when you choose to do the right thing. To return the wallet. To fix the mistake. To respect the empty space. You aren't impressing the world. You're earning your own respect. That small choice, made entirely in private, is how you build a life you never have to look away from. The only audience that matters is you. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin McDonald. Rochelle is sick today. She may make an appearance.
Praying for her.
Yeah, I know. She's been sick since Tuesday. So it's been, but what do you do? You just do the best you can. But I got to ask you, because first of all, what did you think of that spot?
A small transgression. I've been a professor at a college that closed in 2023. But I used to say to my students, do you think it's wrong to take a pen? And they're from your employer, and they would say, no, it's just a pen. I go, but did you pay for that pen? They're, no. I said, stuff like that adds up. It adds up. And so you don't realize until you own something that when you steal things, one guy was his employees were stealing Keurigs from a dental. He had like 7 dental offices, and it came to approximately 700 to 1,000 per dental shop that he had. He was a dentist. Anyway, it was very, very expensive that they were stealing the Keurigs and the creamers. But to me, the small transgression, stealing a pen, as you were saying, you will know, right? And so when you continue to do things like that, I was always raised that God's watching. And you don't realize how you're affecting people when you do those little small transgressions, the little trickling. I always say poop runs downhill, the little trickling effect of your actions. And so your conscience, what is your God-given conscience that's born to you, those little things will irk you and bother you. For instance, I was, years ago, I used to be a barmaid, trying to make some money when I was younger. And I had this guy give me it was a bunch of wet $20 bills, and I could have kept them. And of course he was drunk. And I said, listen, you gave me way too many 20s. There's an extra 2 20s that are stuck together to this. And I want to give it back. It's the same thing if I go into a grocery store and they forget to scan the items underneath. I go back in the store, as much as it's a pain when your kids are little and you got to, oh gosh, we got to go back in the store and you got to bring them back out of the car seat because you realize you put them in the car seat and you're like, no. Or, my daughter, when she was little, she'd go into the Dollar Tree and grab everything and stuff it under the blanket. I would get home and go, oh, you stole so many things. And I'd get back in the car and I would go back, because to me, it's like doing the right thing. If you don't, that builds and builds and builds and builds, and that will change you and how you function and tick. Because it's almost like, I often say, a Muslim once said to me, we can't get over 50% sinning, or we feel so guilty that we have to constantly do kind acts to counter the effect. Can you imagine living like that every day?
No.
And I don't want you to feel like that, doing the wrong thing, because it does change your character. It does affect how you feel. You're constantly getting reminders of making those mistakes. And it almost, how do I say it? It's going to make your persona weaker. You're going to feel weaker as a person because you're doing the wrong thing.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know how pervasive it is, though? Because years ago, I was a general manager of a restaurant. I get a call at 9 a.m. Somebody said somebody broke into the office. The safe was open, and they took some money. And so, because it happened at night, I was a general manager. I worked during the day, and so the district manager wanted to do a lie detector test for the entire management team. Anybody who had a combination to the safe. And so when it came to my turn, the guy said, hooked me up and said, and one of the test questions was, have you ever stolen anything of any value from any employer ever? And I said, I answered truthfully, and I said yes, and stuff. And after the test was over, because it was like a pen, or you don't really know, stuff like that. After the test was over, I said, so what was that question about? And he said, oh, that's a test question, because nobody gets that right. I mean, everybody, if you don't tell the truth, I'll know, because if you say, oh, no, I've never stolen anything, even if you haven't, the idea that maybe I did, I can't remember, but me. So you would think that you might have done something. So apparently it's so pervasive that people steal from their employers and shoplift and all that kind of stuff. But
oh my gosh, I had one student that told me, every time I go to college, my mom takes from the supply closet at work. And I said, but that's stealing. You're literally, just going in there and, oh, I got, my kid's going to college. I get to take whatever I want. Oh, that's actually wrong. And that's expensive. And that adds up for any corporation. People that maybe leave, super early from work and still get paid, or they're stealing supplies. I mean, that's expensive for any.
Yeah. And
how do you live like that,
Well, and some people feel like they can justify doing things like that. The
word justify. Isn't that a
favorite. Fun? Yeah, it's a fun word.
Fun word. Yes.
Because people can
of sin.
You can justify anything if you decide you're going to believe it. But the problem is it comes back to haunt you in your own mind over time, and you devalue who you really are. Because when you pick up that wallet and you don't even look to see if there's money in it, and you see the person who dropped it and you go give it to them, it makes you feel good because you did the right thing. The funny
thing is I was at a grocery store, and I found, as I was walking in the grocery store, there is money all over the floor. So I picked it up and I put it in my hand and hid it. And I stood against the wall. I didn't go in the grocery store. This is where all the carts are. And I waited. And I said, any moment, someone's going to come in. And this person's like, oh, God, look at, oh, where's my stuff? Oh. And I said, what's the matter? Did you lose something? Oh, man, I realized I dropped all my money all the way to my car. I said, you mean this money right here? And he's like, I needed that to pay my rent. Oh, thank God for you, right? And it's those little moments. I even had that in Canada. We were at a Canadian mall. I found all this money. We waited till the mall closed to make sure, because it was a lot of money. We waited till the mall closed, sat on a bench, and waited, and no one came. And I said, I guess we're going to, get some dinner for free then today. It was a blessing. But we waited and wanted to make sure that, until the mall was closed, that it didn't belong to anyone. Because how do you, all the stores are closed, and literally it's kind of like mall walking time at the end until they shut everything down and they tell you have to walk out. But that's very important to me to make sure, because I would want someone to do that for me. I would want someone to wait. I would want, if someone found my credit card, to turn it in. You know, those are the things you get blessed for. But let's go back to what you were talking about. There is an opportunity for you to make things up, meaning like you can get redeemed, you can get forgiven. You don't have to be, you know, let's make up for the 50% of the sin we did for the day. But there is forgiveness. As far as, you know, in my ministry, there's forgiveness. You can ask for forgiveness. And that's the beautiful thing about Jesus, that he died just for you. For whatever sin it is, don't feel like that you're worth less, because everyone makes mistakes. I don't want you to feel like you're the only one who's messed up. But there is redemption. There is forgiveness. You can release it and let it go. You know, you can do something, or even go back to the person and say you're sorry, or even return the money that you stole. You know, yes, there are always consequences, but there is an opportunity to make a difference. And yeah.
Yeah, but there are times when somebody does something. I had a relationship with a guy, and we would go to breakfast, and every time that we went to breakfast, he would pray, and before when the meal came, and then he would pray. And so I asked him, I said, "So are you a churchgoer?" And he said, "Oh no, I don't go to church." And I said, "Well, I noticed that every time you eat something, you pray." And he said, "Oh, I'm just covering my bases." It's like, do you not think that anybody gets that?
Okay, so then there's sincerity that needs to be there, just so you know. It's not about covering your bases or trying to 86 to 50% of the mistakes that you've made. You want to have sincerity and, you know, your heartfelt moment there. It's not about I just got to cover my butt, basically.
Basically, that's what he was doing, because it was like, I don't know, but I'm just covering myself.
Somebody might be watching.
Well, somebody's always watching, and that's a great point. But by the way, we're talking with Dr. Lisa Christie, and she is an actress. She is a singer. She's a songwriter. She's got some great music. Go to YouTube, and you can listen to. She's got a bunch of YouTube videos of different songs that she's done, and
the
stuff.
Current release is on Spotify, Apple Music. It's called LITA, Lita. Love is the answer. And so you'll see my name, Lisa Christie. And so please, you know, follow me. And the more that people listen to my music, a portion of the proceeds goes to my charity, A Cup of Cold Water. So we're helping the orphans and the Holocaust survivors. That's my heart. I'm about giving. I'm singing for the people, but I'm also giving back to make sure that I'm taking care of other people with the blessings that I get.
Okay, I got to ask you, because somebody in the audience is asking me. Okay, she's been Mrs. America. She's a beautiful woman. She's a black belt. She's an actress. She's been on Dr. Phil. Why are you so humble?
Well, you know what? God has always placed me in positions throughout my life to make me humble. So whether I'm cleaning someone's toilet, you know, when my middle daughter, had her first baby, I took over her cleaning business to help her, because I thought she'd want to take it back. And so you're cleaning former Mrs. America is cleaning someone's toilets and making someone's bed. It's always a humbling moment. God always said to me, remember where you know, who gave this to you. And I worked for a veterinary hospital when I was younger, and I was always cleaning toilets and wiping dogs and poop. And it's a humbling moment to always say, I've done so many high-end things in the industry, from film to, you know, national television, to being Mrs. America and national fitness expert. You're staying at the standard, and then you're cleaning someone's toilet. It's like, remember that you are a person, a child of God, and this can be taken away just like that. Always appreciate all the blessings that you have in your life. And that is what I've always done. No matter what, I always stay down to earth. And I don't care who I'm talking to, who they think they are, even if it's the Pope, I don't care. I will treat them as a person and kind, but not anybody different. And, you know, as if they're some kind of God. I treat people, you know, real, and they love that, because they don't have that too much and too often in their life. But I also try to bring them down to earth and talk about things in their lives, the things that they don't share. And then you realize they are real people too. They just put on a facade. There's a big facade there. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially when you are somebody that's an actor or a singer, they get caught up in all of the hype that's around them. But they're still people. They still put their pants on one leg at a time, and unless they're Superman or something.
But whoever your audience member that asked that question, there are some that are extremely arrogant and, as we call them, divas. And that now in the industry, people are kind of getting tired of that because that's one of the first questions. They want to make sure you're not a diva, male or female, or whatever you call yourself. They don't want to deal with that. That's just nonsense, poopy pants. Nobody wants to do that anymore. Bring it down, reel it in, bring yourself back to earth. You know, it's a lot to bear, and it doesn't make an enjoyable environment. People want a nice environment to work in all day. That's hard to deal with.
Well, especially when you're on set and you're there for 12 or 14 hours and you're going to do something that's going to take 5 minutes, but it takes you all day for them to get around to getting the lighting done and getting everything ready to go, and for you to then do your 5-minute thing, but you got to be there all day. Mm-hmm. And so there's a whole thing that behind the scenes that people don't get. And
I wanted to add something to that too, but it's also, as we talked about in the last show, it's being comfortable in your own skin. It's setting boundaries. When a director once was really ripping me and just saying awful things to me, and I literally, with kindness, stood there and did not take it and corrected this person, to the point that person, that director, got fired and was never hired back for those particular jobs. This is when I was doing fitness infomercials. So not fitness infomercials, hosting fitness videos. And one of them, this particular director, was just a nasty, nasty person. And after that, she was never hired back again because she mistreated me so badly. But I handled it by setting my boundaries and with kindness. There's ways of handling it and there's ways of not handling it. And trust me, when you do the right thing, you get blessed for it, because I kept getting booked. I've been getting booked ever since because of the way my character in handling those situations. But what's coming to them, trust me, it'll happen. Don't worry about it.
And when we come back from this break, I'd like to talk about that famous word, boundaries, because it is a lot of people pleasers or moms that they take care of everybody else, but they don't take care of themselves and stuff. You're in the business and you help people take care of themselves in a myriad of ways, through nutrition, through your product line, and also through fitness and herbalist, and just a myriad of ways. And I'd love to talk about that when we come back, because it's an important aspect of what you do, but it's an important aspect of everybody's life as well.
Absolutely.
And we'll be right back. Stay with us, everybody. We're talking to Dr. Lisa Christie, and go to drlisachristie.com and find out all about her. And we'll be right back right after this. It's just 1 minute and 10 seconds. Stay right where you are.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
Are you looking for your daily dose of inspiration? Stay connected to all your favorite shows, music, and news with the Brushwood Media Network app. From Positive Talk Radio to Greatest Vibes Unplugged and so many more uplifting voices around the world, everything you need is right in one place. It's easy to use, too. Always available and designed to keep you inspired 24 hours a day. Go to brushwoodmedianetwork.com and download the app, and you will always have Brushwood Media available on your smartphone. Download it now and make inspiration and music and conversation part of your everyday. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin McDonald. Rochelle is sick today, and I am so sorry. Dr. Lisa, you're going to have to come back when she is feeling her spunky self, because we love talking to her, and the two of you really had a great time, and you bonded together very nicely, and stuff. Although I did get a I did get a message from Brushwood Media that she said on Monday on a Friday, because that's when the show aired, and she said Monday. So I got to coach her on that a little bit. But
Got it.
other than that, she does a great job. Let's talk. I want to talk about all the things that you do, and you do this of service to humanity and primarily women, but you work with everybody. And so tell us all the things that you are doing and what's coming next for you too. And we've only got 30 minutes, so we may run out of time.
Okay. Well, I am a New York State director for A Cup of Cold Water, so that's another way of giving back. And so we help the orphan right now. We're in Kampala, Uganda. We're providing school supplies, food, love, medical needs, and as well as the Holocaust survivors. So we're in Belarus right now, but we're trying to help them the best we can with love and care or transportation. We just send the money, and they use that to end days. So their end days are better than their earlier days. And there's 168,000 remaining right now, which is really surprising. But all that they've been through, we just want to make their end days better than their earlier days. As well as I have my own personal care product line. So it's called Be Harmony. And when I was on the reality show last year on the blocks, it's the BLOX. So if you go on, it's on Beta Blocks. The Beta Blocks, if you get the Beta Blocks app, it's also on YouTube. And it's supposed to be coming up on Amazon Prime eventually. But my company is 100% waterless, toxin-free personal care products. And here's the QR code. So if you take a picture of that, you can look it up, but it's drlisachristie.com/be-harmony. And they're 100% toxin-free, organic, waterless. So it's a niche that I'm in. I didn't even realize that everything that the FDA requires the greatest list to the greatest to the least ingredients list on the back of any product. So any company can open up a personal care product line, but you have to have the list ingredients, which I have on the side. And this is my deodorant. I have chapstick, deodorant, two different fragrances of deodorant, shampoo, which is also a face wash and a shaving cream, as well as a conditioner and a skin cream. But you have to list the greatest to the least. So if you flip your bottles over, you're going to see water is usually the first ingredient. And then you're going to see a bunch of chemicals you can't pronounce. There's PEGs, there's dyes, there's carcinogenic petroleums. There's a lot of bad things that are in products. And we say, at Be Harmony, we love your body too. And you have to love your body. So you want to extend your days, not shorten them. So not only as a national fitness expert, in privately training people, with fitness and weight loss, but I'm a nutritionist also. And then I have herbal remedies, which I have a weight loss and energy boost. It's called Pure, which I'm going to actually put on my website pretty soon, and a liver cleanse because I'm starting a weight loss program with the chiropractor for the Buffalo Bills. And we're doing Contour Light, which is red light therapy, as well as the weight loss with nutrition. And then I private train people individually. And then we also do the PRP and the microdermabrasion for your skin, because I'm a skin expert now. We also do the PRP, which is basically taking your blood, they spin in a centrifuge, they separate the plasma from the blood, and they re-inject it under your face. Instead of all that nasty filler, you're actually putting your own plasma under your face, and it boosts the collagen in your face. So, and they'll do your lips too. You don't have to blow your lips up 3 times the size. They'll just look natural, and a man will actually want to kiss you. They'll say, whoa, you look natural. You want to do, guys, listen, I talk to guys. I have a lot of guy friends. They don't like that. They like the natural look. And it's just enough that they see that you look that much younger, and it's that natural plumping and collagen boosting that is far more pleasant than all that other stuff. Trust me.
Well, and I just want to mention this, is that a lot of products that are out there, if you put something on your skin, there's a reason why there's a nicotine patch. that you put on the outside of your skin. Do you ever wonder why that is, folks? It's because it is absorbed through your skin. So everything that you put on your body, everything that you wear and it can go into your body from your skin.
Your skin is the largest organ on your body. So whatever goes on your skin goes into your body, and whatever your body cannot get rid of, toxins, it gets stored in your organs and tissues. So if you see what happens is it goes into your lymphatics, it goes through your liver, you excrete through your skin. So you got a lot of products that petroleums or mineral oils that seal like saran wrap. You can't breathe and excrete the toxins. Your body's got to find another way through urine, through feces, whatever. But if you can't get rid of that, your body actually stores it in your organs and tissues. And that's where you get chronic, fatigue, depression, birth defects. I mean, all that stuff, cancers, diseases, all that stuff you can pass on even to your children. So it's like passing it through. So you got to be very careful what you put on, even in the environments that you're in. It's not just your products. But if you read your label, be a good consumer. There's top 10 most unwanted ingredients list. And you'll see like sodium lauryl sulfate, which is the main solvent in antifreeze. That's in common shampoos and conditioners. Propylene glycol, that's the main solvent in antifreeze. What do you think happens when an animal or a small child eats it? That propylene glycol is also in children's Tylenol. You got to be very, very careful reading these labels, because these are small bodies that are taking these little, containers of Tylenol that can actually harm their body. You just got to read your labels and be good consumers, because you have to learn to love your body. Again, you want to extend your days, not shorten your days. This is the temple, I say. As a Christian, this is the temple of the Holy Spirit, so we want to take care of it. Right? Because then we wonder why do I have cancer? And why does this? I mean, you smoked, 10 years. It's not God's fault. You ate the worst foods that you could possibly eat, fried foods, this and that. It's not God didn't do this to you. He's been trying to show you, no, this is unhealthy. That's why you have heart disease, and you're putting a lot of garbage. Really, it's like going in a bunch of mucky, like a swamp with a bunch of chemicals in that, and you're just pouring it into your body. You put on your body about at least 3,000 chemicals plus a day. I'm not kidding. From all the products used, from deodorant to hairsprays to, skin cream, whatever, everything you put on, makeup, you got to be very, very careful. That's why I say, do the microdermabrasion, do an acid peel, do those natural things. Then you don't need all that garbage on your face every day. You got this natural, clean face, because it gets rid of all the dead skin. If you see my skin, if you go to the actual YouTube page, you'll see that my skin is actually very, very clear. And there's natural things to put on your blemishes, like arnica extract. You don't need the pimple stuff that has chemicals in it. Arnica is a natural extract that gets rid of blemishes. And I learned that when I was in Germany years ago modeling.
I agree with you 100%, because as a guy, I like a natural look. I don't like an over.
You mean you don't want me to wipe my makeup on your shirt when I give you a hug?
No, or the lipstick that's going to get on my collar, and then my wife. Well, never mind. I don't have one of those. But
okay. Sorry, wife.
Yeah, but the other thing is that we live in an environment that is, right now, it is toxic. And so I'm so glad you come up with a liver cleanse, because a lot of things get stored in your liver if they can't get out. And the other thing, your body's a magnificent organism, because what they will do as well is that will take toxins and they'll put it into your cells and put water around it to dilute it. But then if you ever wonder why you can't lose weight, it's because you have a level of toxicity to you. And so
think about this. People that drink a lot, you're already stressing out your liver. Then you're taking acetaminophen on top of it. You're stressing your liver. Then you got all these toxins. You're stressing your liver. Or you're stressing your kidney. You're taking ibuprofen, and you're just stressing everything out. Your body wasn't designed to take all these chemicals. And you have to try to, be good, knowledgeable consumers and start treating your body like it's delicate, like it's a delicate flower, because you can actually heal that stuff. The body's amazing. It can turn around, but you're still going to have some damage. As we age, it's the same thing. We don't have the same digestive enzymes in our stomach as we get older. When you get to the age of 25, it might decrease by, 2%. Same thing with your metabolism. But you have to have natural things like papaya that help you in digestion, or ginger. There's a lot of different things that you can use that are natural. to take that's going to help you digest. But you also want to think about this. You know, the Jews had it right. 2 hours before you have dinner, if you're going to have any kind of meat, you should never have dairy. It's like it's going to curdle. You know, they had it right years ago. It's either 2 hours before dinner or after. Try not to mix dairy with your meat because it's already, your body's already trying to digest that meat. But a steak takes about 8 hours to break down in your body. So now you're going to add this cheese or this, you know, dairy product or, you know, yogurt or whatever. And it's your digestion is going to, your gut health is going to just be down and you're going to feel really like garbage and foggy. And, you know, so these are little things that you should think about. But I know we were talking about boundaries earlier because we told the audience we were going to talk about that with marriage and stuff like that. But did you want to go back there? Or you want
to... no, we hadn't even got to, because we were still talking about, you know, the things that you do. But one of the things that you are is the boundaries that you have created. And this started when you were 5. By beginning to create boundaries. Give our
I think I was an unfiltered soul when I was 5. I had to learn. I would speak up at no problem, but then I realized sometimes saying the truth it would hurt people, and you don't always need to open your mouth. You have to know when to talk and when not to talk.
Well, you need a filter. You need a little filter there.
You do. You do. See, that might have been from hanging out with the boys so much that you think out loud, right?
But you
setting boundaries.
You strike as me as somebody who has the ability over time to set strong boundaries, because I don't know if you've noticed, but you're a pretty woman. And women have faced a whole lot of different things that than men have to deal with. I was talking to somebody recently about a guy, and I said, "So when was the last time that you picked a parking spot that was underneath the street lamp because you were going to come back after dark and you wanted to make sure that your car was under a street?" And he said, "I wouldn't even consider that. That never even crosses my mind as a man." But for a woman, it crosses their minds all the time because it's important that they protect themselves. Boundaries is one way to do that.
I always say you want to use wisdom. Where you're parking, and especially if you're by yourself, especially if you got your pods in your ears and you're got your face in your phone, you're not paying attention. These days, this is one of the things when I was teaching at the college, I was like, telling these girls, because one girl was actually had her pods in her ears. She was looking down at her phone and she got KO'd, literally punched in the face and knocked right out because she wasn't paying attention to her surroundings. I always say, make sure you have one of them out so you're always able to listen and pay attention. When you're so engulfed in your phone or, what you're doing, you're not paying attention to your surroundings. It's really, really important these days to do that. But also setting your boundaries. For instance, when I was young and on the train in New York City, when I started living there at 17, I would take the train, and it wasn't wise to take it after 12. But if I had to take it, I was direct eye contact to the person. Even if it was one man on the train, I would look right at him like, don't even think about it, because you and I will fight to the death. And they say it's how your posture is. That's another way of setting boundaries, is instead of being all, coward and, enclosed in and wrapping your arms and crossing your arms like you're afraid and holding your purse, you look like a victim already. Mm-hmm. So when you sit up and pull your shoulders back and you give them direct eye contact, like, I'm not afraid of you. The most they're going to do is they don't want a strong person. They want a weak victim. They're looking for weak. They're predators. So set your boundaries is also how you appear to other people. You want to look strong. You want to stand tall. You want to lift your chest up. You want to give that eye contact and let them know this is the wrong person to mess with. And it's helped me through my entire life. But as far as boundaries too in relationships, I mean, you're going to go through ups and downs, even in your marriage. Even with my second marriage, we went through a struggle for a time. But I think that I've learned even to speak and communicate so much better. Whereas when in my first marriage, I was so afraid that I almost put him on a pedestal. He was almost a god because I was so afraid of him that I feared him more than, in my faith, God. And I wasn't speaking up and setting boundaries. An old guy said to me one time, I thought it was hilarious, and it's true. He said, you have to train us like dogs. The more you let the leash out, the more we think we can get away with. You got to keep that in nice and tight. We need to know, and you got to set boundaries with us. Otherwise, we're going to go out there and do whatever we feel like we want to do. And he's kind of right? It's setting boundaries and saying, I wouldn't do that to you, and I don't want you to do that to me. No, you can go with your friends or do, yeah, you need your friends every now and then, but to be going out and you're a young parent and your wife has got a baby at home and she's out partying 2-3 times a week, you're just letting her do whatever you want. Vice versa, a man that you like go play golf, 5 days a week and you never get any help and you're complaining about it. Well, there you go. Because you let him, you said, yeah, okay, go ahead, play 5 days a week golf and you're not home until you're playing 18 holes, right? That's a forever day. And by the time you get home, the guy's like, he has no time for the kids or for you. And you're wondering why you're lonely. Okay, well, set some boundaries and speak up, right?
Yeah, especially,
solutions.
You go play 18 holes with the guys, and then
How about 9 holes? How about 9 holes? You got
exactly. Well, the golf cart lady comes by, and your friend buys you a couple of beers, and then you play 18 holes, and then you end up in the clubhouse, and then you hang out there, and you get home, and you're kind of 3 sheets to the wind, and you're not going to be good for your wife, you're not going to be good for your kids, but you had a good time.
Yeah, well, you're not going to have a good time when she wakes you up the next morning and has a whole, dripping water, okay? Right? And you wonder why. Because women chain link things and men compartmentalize. They're like, listen, we got over that this morning. I thought we were done with it. Oh, no. Why? Because you keep doing the same thing. So we're going to keep talking about it, right? And those are things of saving communication, setting boundaries. Okay, let's try to do things right. And if you don't speak up, you're not going to get change. You have to, say something to get some change in your life. So don't be afraid, because you're important and you're special and you have a right to say something, what you would like and what you don't like. I mean, don't set high expectations. She's not going to be a supermodel, or she's not going to be, on the cover of Vogue. But those kind of things, like even if you want your spouse to lose a little weight, hey, honey, I was thinking, let's join a gym. I'd love to work out and spend more time with you. That's a nicer way of saying, I think you gained a little bit too much weight post pregnancy, and I can't deal with someone who's fat. So there's ways of saying things, right? There's 27 different ways of saying things, but there's other ways of getting your partner to participate and spend more moments together. And those moments, you can't get back. Those moments you fly by. In a relationship. And if you're allowing your spouse to be out there and wondering why you're lonely, it's because you haven't spoken up and said, hey, I don't mind you seeing your friends once in a while, but to go out 3 or 4 nights a week and we never spend any time together and I'm stuck with the kids, or, you're leaving all this cleanup for me. It's, you got to work together. You're a team in a relationship. You are a team. It's not one over the other. You are a people that are working together, and you're one person together. Even God says that when you come together, you're one. So when you hurt your spouse and you're out there doing bad things, you're actually hurting yourself too, and hurting them, because that's your partner, right? So let's think about those things. Let's not be so selfish. And let's say, how would I feel if I was home all the time and that person was out and never helping me with anything at home, and I'm working just as much as they are? That's not team effort, right? Set boundaries.
No, and speaking from the other side, if you are going out 3-4 nights a week, if you're playing golf on the weekends, you're not taking care of the stuff that you need to take care of, then you need to rethink who you are and what you're doing. Because that's
and why you're out, right?
Yeah.
Why are you out?
Why? Yeah. And if you're contemplating looking at somebody else other than your wife, would you do me a favor? And if things aren't going well, seek counseling. Go do that first. And then if for whatever reason it doesn't work, don't do the affair thing. Be a man.
Listen, women are hard enough to take care of. One person. Can you imagine 2 women? Dude, that's a lot of work. That's not a happy life. That's a crazy life. Why would you want? It's almost like you're creating storms in your life. Why would you want storms? Don't you want peace? There's got to be a reason you married that person, right? So kind of go back to reminiscing why you did that. And if there's some things that you're bothered about, you're not communicating. Once you communicate that and figure that out together, your marriage will get back on track, and you won't be looking for that attention, because a lot of guys will say that's basically what I'm doing. I'm trying to get attention that I'm not getting from my wife. I need that attention every now and then to feel like I'm wanted or loved or appreciated. Your husband wants to feel appreciated. He doesn't want you in your face disrespecting him and screaming at him all the time. Again, it's those things. I mean, I had to work on a lot of stuff for my first marriage. I was always screaming. And in communication, even in my second marriage, some of that was bubbling through because it's the only way you were ever heard is you had to scream, right? You had to get over the other person. And you don't want to do that. You want to try another way to communicate with them, 27 different ways. And that takes work. Are you guys willing to work for love? Work is an action. I mean, love is an action. So it takes energy to try to fix those things and heal those things, to show that person that you care about them. And we're always a great work in progress. I'm always working on my skills, learning to listen better. Like I think 170 words per minute. So I'm like, I got to get this out before I forget, because I will forget. Like, wait, what was that I was thinking about? I got to write it down. And you should see, I got little scrap papers that I write all over, like little thoughts. I'm writing stuff down because I don't want to forget. But if you're that kind of person, just, write down your thoughts and try to, wait a second. But it takes work, right? We're not perfect. So don't be hard on yourself.
By the way, we're talking with Dr. Lisa Christie. Go to her website, which is drlisachristie.com. And I was just thinking, while you were talking right there, and I was just thinking, you're better than Dr. Phil. You should have your own show.
I would love it.
And talking to women about things that are so commonplace that it happens to a lot of them, and they have no idea because nobody's ever taught them, and they're caregivers. And so, and when you made the statement, you're important, a segment of our population doesn't believe that, because they're
value. You have value. God created you for a reason. He doesn't make junk. And so you're not born to have your mouth duct taped and cower. You have gifts and talents and things that you need to work at. But those things are supposed to be shared with the world, because otherwise you rob the world of you. And so I want you to work on you being the best version of you in all aspects, even in your relationships, taking care of your body, trying to learn and educate yourself. You have a brain right there that needs information. It's putting in the right information, though. I always say you're going to get a lot of information, but spit out the sticks, spit out the junk, right? But prior preparation prepares you, right? The 5 Ps, prior preparation prevents poor performance. So you always want to do the 5 Ps, prevention, preparing, all those things before you actually perform. You want to prepare yourself and work hard at all that you do so that you can be your best. And trust me, the more you work on yourself, it becomes part of your DNA. It's like martial arts. I talk about it a lot. The more I practice martial arts, I don't even have to think about it when I'm attacked, or, even things like something might fall out of the cabinet. I swipe it out of the air. I'm not even looking at it. It's like, it's in your DNA. You work on it so much that it's just part of you. It's the same thing working on yourself. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. Okay. So make sure you do the 5 Ps in every aspect of your life.
Dr. Lisa Christie, thank you so much for being here. And will you come back?
I would love to come back. I will come back as many times as you want. And we can do a couple times a month if you'd like, because I love you guys.
Well, and we love you too, because there are people that are listening to this that are going, she's pretty smart, don't you know? But
I would say not just a cute face you got here. Who you talking to?
the glamorous one.
Literally, I love when people try to get one over you, and I go like this to them. I'm like, not just a cute face, guys. Like, seriously, you're going to try to get that over on me? I had that recently, and I just looked at the person like, I actually can see right through that you're lying to me. And you shouldn't be talking to me like that. And guess what? All those things that they didn't say, it just, the epiphany rose. And I'm like, oh, all those things that they don't say, this is what they're actually going to do. And it's not beneficial to me. It's like, you just get used to paying attention and listening, and body posture and looking at people in the eye. And you can tell when they're not telling you the truth. Be good people readers. You have to love people to want to learn about them, but you can also learn body language and gestures and looking people in the eye. If they can't look you in the eye and they're looking up to the right and they're constantly looking away from you, they're not very confident, or they're not telling you the truth, or they're lying straight out. So pay attention to the people. You have to actually look at them and participate engaging with them to learn about people. And it'll that you make decisions.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, if you have somebody that is, you're looking at them and you can see they're looking like a foot farther down, and you're a woman, it's like that's a clear sign that they have got their priorities mixed up.
I usually lower myself down this and do the eye contact. That's what I usually do.
Oh.
I gotta get down there at their level, like, I see you. Women just want to be seen, and so do men. Like, I see you, right? And even people of color say that. I want you to see me, right? And it's about seeing people for who they are, and seeing that they're special and they're valued, and treating people as such. That's very, very important.
And be kind to everybody you meet. It doesn't cost anything. You can smile at people.
It's free.
And that's really cool. Dr. Lisa Christie has been our guest. And go to our website, drlisachristie.com, and you can find out all the things that she does, and nutrition and healthcare products, and all the things that you do, and the music. Don't forget about the music. Because
yes. Go to LITA, Love is the Answer on Spotify. You'll see Lisa Christie. And it's on Apple Music. It's on 25 plus platforms. I just haven't gotten to them yet, so it just got released. Love is the Answer, and you'll see LITA, LITA. That's the acronym for Love is the Answer. So the more you play it and follow me, you're helping other people as far as the orphans and the Holocaust survivors, all the charities that I help, and slave trafficking as well. So I appreciate you guys. You're
an amazing woman, and thank you so much for being here.
And we ended on time this time. Woohoo!
We did, although I could go anyway. Thank you, doctor. And go to our website, drlisachristie.com, and buy some stuff. So thank you so much.
Or microwave some stuff. That was that noise. Or the refrigerator. My daughter's in the refrigerator. It's real life.
It is that, and that's okay. That's all right. And we'll talk to you next time. And thank you so much for being here.
Blessings. Bye, guys.
Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got.